Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. As you can tell, I am not at home. But wanted to do this video. I've been waiting a couple days. It's been a long flight, long trip. So I got a little bit some time today. So this is about, first of all, about Superman. Now we all got that Instagram. I tweeted it out. Everybody tweeted it out. It was nuts. Henry Cavill on Instagram, he posted this picture. I don't always work out, but when I do, I work out with Superman. Hashtag Superman, hashtag gym stuff at Flex Gym Budapest. Of course, liked by a whole bunch of people, even liked by Aquaman himself, Pride of Gypsies, Jason Momoa. So that is all great. Actually, looking really jacked, looking really like Superman. And we can't be anywhere happy to hear him do that, to see him do that, actually pull that one out. Now, a lot of us are very hopeful. We're thinking he's saying he's still Superman after that whole Ben Affleck thing. He's still Superman. He's going to continue being Superman. He's working out to be Superman. Of course, that could also mean he's working out for the Gerald role in what is that? The Witcher, right? So that's possibility. Actually, that's more of a possibility than Superman, as we don't have a Superman project in the works, or do we? Oh, who knows? As we did report earlier that a lot of people reported that James Gunn was about to be handed Superman as one of the options of the films he was, but to not to go into much about James Gunn doing a Superman, but more that Warner Brothers actually has that on the table, saying in a way, they're trying to say we really want to do a Superman film, but we're just trying to find a director. And according to Mauro Blaise, they're waiting. They want Henry Cavill's approval on that director. So in any way, it's just still a good idea, still a good thing to see him Instagram this out. Some people even says work out. He always works out. He's always at the gym. So what does that mean? I don't always work out. But when I do work out with Superman, maybe he's working out the deal with Superman. If you want to go real tinfoil, working out a deal with Superman, or they worked it out on a deal with Superman. So, and maybe at Comic-Con we'll expect some news on a Superman sequel with Henry Cavill reprising his role as Kal-El Superman himself. Now, there is one person who didn't think this is actually good news, and we know it's Grace Randolph. She did say hashtag Henry Cavill is not confirming or hinting at a hashtag Man of Steel 2. He is simply campaigning to continue as Superman, trying to keep fan support strong. Good luck, Cavill, but the best thing you can do is bring your price down. So that's what her sources are saying, that it's still on that matter that maybe his price is too high. He's pricing himself at an A-lister rather than what Grace Randolph believes is more of a B-lister. But we'll see what happens with that. I mean, he is such a charismatic person, and he did a really good job in Mission Impossible. Everybody loved him in Mission Impossible. I mean, I want him to become a Superman, and I'm feeling positive he's still Superman. So I'm championing him for being a Superman, continuing as Superman in other movies. And not only me, but there are a lot of people out there, including Mauro Blaise, who also reported on his Revenge of the Fans podcast that his recent Instagram post, combined with what's going on behind the scenes at DC, it's time to rethink last fall's assumptions. So last fall, and I'll put the article in below for those two articles they put out. One that because before Aquaman hit $1 billion, right? It was kind of like one of the options to whether or not to bring Henry Cavill to be Superman. If this continuing universe after Justice League would work, do these characters that Zack Snyder had put as their roles, are they going to work? We know Wonder Woman's going to work, but after Justice League, you saw that even with Wonder Woman's Gal Gadot's involvement, Justice League still went down. So this is what Revenge of the Fans were speculating, and he has sources of himself. But after Aquaman, he's calling it the Aquaman effect, is that after Aquaman hit $1 billion, the studio has finally gained some confidence, or a lot of confidence, in fact, in this DCEU, and that's why they started churning out. Okay, we're ready. Suicide Squad. Okay, we're ready. The Batman. Okay, of course Batman. No, we know it's the younger Batman, not Ben Affleck Batman. And then let's go ahead with Birds of Prey. Let's keep. We saw a lot of different news stories for the DCEU that came out. Also, the fact that this could possibly be Henry Cavill doing Instagram posts about being Superman, wanted to generate interest in Henry Cavill as Superman, and it did. It did trend for a little bit. It did trend for Superman trended for a little bit to show that fans still want Superman. Fans still want Henry Cavill as Superman. And if what we heard from Marvel Blaze about the Warner Brothers really wanting Superman, and from the other, like the Hollywood Reporter, stating that they gave James Gunn 3 different options: Crypto, which became Super Pets; Suicide Squad, which now is the Suicide Squad; and Superman. Then Superman's got to be that third movie that they really want to put out. They just got to find the right director, or if they have already found it, who knows? That's the thing. So I like Mario Robles' positivity that they're really working. And he's a Superman fan as well, so I think I feel like I'm on that. I'm more of a dreamer I'm more positive, optimistic. And Grace Randolph had not really been correct in a lot of ways. We still have yet to see if Wonder Woman 84 is Flashpoint like she suggests or heard from her sources. So, but anything could happen at this point. But just keep both sides, your options, wide open. Anything's possible. Be an open mind about it. But I like that Cavill put that recent Instagram post. If it's to champion to be Superman again, I think that kind of worked. If it's that he worked out and he's now Superman again in an upcoming Superman, I think that worked. So in any way, they both ways drove interest, and hopefully Warner Brothers saw that and actually are going to announce something soon, either at San Diego Comic-Con or soon, this week. I don't know. This week, tomorrow, please. Please, by the time please announce Superman. But that's not the only guy that we're going to talk about. This is going to be like another world's finest video, if you will. Batman. The Batman is coming out. Matt Reeves is directing it. There are so many casting choices right now. So many. Someone suggested Aaron Taylor Johnson, and he's the guy who played Quicksilver in Avengers: Age of Ultron. He's the military guy. Ford was in Henry something. Ford was in the Godzilla, the Gareth Edwards Godzilla, and a lot of people are like, him really? I don't know I don't know if suggested or is that part of the list of somewhere. I'm not sure. But I recently saw him in Outlaw King with Chris Pine, and he was Aaron Taylor Johnson played one of the guys who was trying to avenge his father, and he kept he's killing people, and he's yelling, Douglas, Douglas, telling the guy, what's my name, Douglas. And I thought he was really entertaining, and it was surprising to see him in that type of role, and I enjoyed if he could do more of that kind of stuff. He was probably the most charismatic Scottish warrior in that movie, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But anyway, Aaron Taylor Johnson, not bad. I've seen a lot of photo manips as well. And then also today is was it today or a few days ago, Boss Logic says, a choice that I never would have thought to try, but keep hearing some background chatter about Robert Pattinson being looked at. If the talks source are true, then all of our predictions were wrong. This might be your new Bruce, the Batman, hashtag the Batman. So Robert Pattinson, and he did a nice photo manip, and all he really did, he looks like Bruce Wayne. and you got a shadow of the bad ears and stuff. And what I think about this, and Boss Logic, he's now in the industry, right? Because there are a lot of opportunities in the entertainment business now, and so maybe he could have sources. Who knows? Everybody's source. Everybody has a source. Like I said in the other video, everybody's got a source. Who knows who's right? Who knows who's wrong? But people talk, and maybe some people talk know things, and it's just to keep an open mind about it. But it's just what we think about it, what we think about the news and sources we hear, and we get to speculate and talk about. That's the fun part. And Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, I could totally see that. I could totally see that as a young. I mean, he's got a chin. He's got the chin. It's got that hawkish nose. In terms of looks, I can see him as a young Batman. And in terms of acting, I know he's capable of great acting. And I know I've seen him in other movies other than the Twilight series, so I know he's capable of good acting. Okay, and I hope people can see that. But in any case, it's always the case. Anybody new going to play a superhero role, iconic superhero role like the Batman, Superman, and of course recently we learned that Wolverine is going to be recasted. It's always going to be controversial. There's always going to be people doing opinions about it, and I am open-minded to all these casting choices, even though I've been like in the back of my mind or sometimes out in the open, like, well, I don't know. But once you see him in action, they might just impress you. I mean, look at Ben Affleck. How many people said about Ben Affleck? Heath Ledger. So how many people talked about Heath Ledger? Mostly Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. I remember Ben Affleck going on a TV talk shows, and he said when the first people had heard he was Ben Affleck, he saw on Twitter, and he said, "No." There's a meme there. I think it was a GIF, and he goes, "No." So. But when we watch the Batman v Superman, he's like, "That's Batman. That's the best." Well, in my opinion, that's the best Batman I've ever seen on screen. So, and the old grizzled Batman, which makes sense for Ben Affleck as Batman. So, but Robert Pattinson, if he turns out to be the Batman, I wouldn't mind watching that. I would want to see how that is interpreted. I want to see what type of story he's going to be involved in. But as a detective noir, he kind of has that look. I mean, well, Boss Logic, I don't know if he manipulated the face or anything, but what he put there, he just does look like a very young Bruce Wayne, and I would totally be into that. So. Whoever he got that from, whoever his sources are, yeah, that would be bad. But like I said earlier, like Ben Affleck, it came out of left field. Nobody knew Ben Affleck was going to be Batman. They were saying names like Ryan Gosling. They were saying names like, who's that guy from The Hobbit? What was that? I forgot his name. And then, there's so many different names for the Batman, and nobody thought Ben Affleck. When they announced Ben Affleck as Batman, everyone was like, "What? That just came out of left." It was none of like the, when they list down, these are the top 10 contenders for Batman. These are the top, and never is. They're never on that list. It's someone else entirely. So that's why it's hard to talk about, because it could literally be anybody. It's not going to be Ryan Gosling. It might not be Jake Gyllenhaal, wherever else we've fan casted so far. But I think that's also part of the excitement, because you don't know who's coming. You don't know who's going to win. You don't know who's going to be the Batman, the young Batman, and we don't know. Really don't have an official confirmation or non-confirmation or confirmation that Ben Affleck is going to return as Batman, or was he ever gone? So one tinfoil probably I'd like to talk about. This is coming from Louis Centino, of course, not a proven source of anything, but what he suggests or he's hearing. I just want to talk about what the possibilities of that. Not his thing, but what kind of scenario. So this is what he says. Okay, this is Louis Centeno. He says, "This is a rumor I'm hearing. Ben pitched idea to Warner Brothers to let him or Christopher Nolan direct Justice League. Names that I'm hearing: Justice League Part 1, Dark Side; Justice League Part 2, Armageddon. Could this be where Batman dies, or Batman makes the world thinks he dies and retires? Kind of like The Dark Knight Returns. Ben Affleck is, as of today, still the modern day Batman, is open for future Batman project if script is to his liking, and Warner Brother lets him direct Justice League. Ben realized that Nolan directing Justice League is a long shot, but Ben and Warner Brothers has not confirmed anything because Warner Brother wants Ben to stay as Batman and are will to accommodate Ben as much as possible and are considering letting Ben direct Justice League and finish Zack's vision. Again, this is one of my sources hearing. The corrections are willing to accommodate. Okay, anyway. So that's a huge, just a all tin boat story, right? it's huge. It's a huge tinfoil story. And it's out of a dream, if you like, when you're hearing Christopher Nolan and things like that. So I don't know if you want to believe that. It's up to you if you want to believe that. But I'm just thinking about two things here. One is that Ben Affleck did sign on to be Batman during Zack Snyder days, and only because he knew his arc would be a self-sacrifice at the end, right? Generally, he knew that arc. So if he still wants to be Batman, it's possibly he still wants to be part of that arc. Remember what we talked about before, where we knew that the arc of Batman was to die, and then Henry Cavill and Lois has a kid, and they name him Bruce at the end, right? So if Ben Affleck was to continue on as Batman, and he still had feelings that I don't want to continue on making Batmans, if I'm going to do that, I want to finish up my arc and I'm done. So there could be a possibility of finishing that arc for older Batman, and do some kind of Flashpoint thing, and then maybe the Batman becomes Batman. So there could be a possibility of that. Like, he won't continue, but if they gave him like a chance, like, how about, what we originally wanted you to die in that arc, fine, we'll let you do it in a movie, right? So, and that could be a way for us to see Ben Affleck as Batman, and maybe for him to be happy to reprise his role, because it will finish the arc he originally signed up for. That's what I'm trying to say. Christopher Nolan directing Justice League, I don't know about that. I thought he said he was not into superheroes anymore. And that new Christopher Nolan movie that's coming out, I think it's going to be something else entirely. I don't think Christopher Nolan, I mean, it'll be kind of nuts, right? Because Hans Zimmer did say he was going to retire from making superhero movies. And then he ends up doing Dark Phoenix. He ends up composing for Wonder Woman 1984. So you don't know. These people that says, I'm not doing it anymore, they come back and do something else. Go figure. But, I think Christopher Nolan did want to make grounded superhero type movie. That's why he has The Dark Knight like that. And that's why he wanted Zack Snyder to do Man of Steel, because of his visual flair, and for him to do that kind of movie. But you know what? He made Interstellar, and that's like crazy visual effects off the wall, and Inception. So who knows? Who knows at this point? Well, the sky's the limit. But the other part was that Ben Affleck to direct Justice League. Now that is actually, I believe, part of what it used to be. I think who I forgot who reported. Was it the Rap, I think, reported or something, that Ben Affleck had a Justice League script and he was going to direct a Justice League. So that's not out of the realm of possibility, because at one time he was going to want to direct a Justice League movie. So that's not out of the realm of possibility either. But it's still, like I said, huge rumor, tinfoil. If it gives you any hope, great. But the conversation starter is really interesting about him. If he signed up to have that arc where he dies, then maybe they can offer that him again, and then he can finally finish off his character the way he wanted to from the beginning, what Zack Snyder had pitched to him, and he agreed upon. So that's it. Well, that is it for tonight. I'm going to try to make more videos during this business trip, hopefully. But until then, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.